everyone, Francesca here from Peluka Salon. I'm super excited to be here today with Georgina from At Her Hair My Head and the wonderful Pia from At Rockin' Locks. And we are launching our educational content, which is labelled Peluka Presents, or Presents, because it's also a gift to you guys. So this first episode is just a little introduction to us and the sorts of topics that we'll be covering. And we invite you to submit via messaging, pigeon, however you want, your kind of ideas for the sorts of things you want to know about. Now, the reason that we wanted to do this is because we feel that there is such a huge amount of information out there, which is fabulous, but it's quite difficult to unpick it and find it in a chronological or a step-by-step process. So we do want to show you some basic stuff, taking you from measuring your head, talking about toppers, wig caps, lots and lots of stuff's coming up. So first of all, I just want to introduce everybody, and we will start with Georgina, who will tell us a little bit about her story. Georgina.
Thank you. So I'm Georgie, and I have androgenetic alopecia. For those of you who don't know what that is, I mean, this isn't my hair. It's very fabulous, so it's clearly not my hair. Basically, the type of alopecia that I have means that my hair is very slowly thinning. So for me, it's on top and the crown and the parting, but it's sort of slowly thinning as it comes down. So I wear toppers like this that clip in at the top, and sometimes wigs. And I have been wearing them for about 3 years full time, and it's totally changed my life. So partly why I wanted to be involved was because I want to share that with other women. And I also found talking about my hair loss on social media has made me more confident to talk about it in real life. And I think it's a really powerful tool to reach out to other women and make women feel less alone if they see someone else going through the same thing as them.
That's fabulous. And it's important at this point to note that Georgie and Pia, as my ambassadors, I think it's really important that we have that differentiation between wearing alternative hair as toppers and wigs, because they're very, very different products and they do require a different approach. So I think that Georgie really brings that additional support for those women who perhaps feel that their hair loss isn't valid. And I know I get that a lot, and that they don't know where to start, because when you have hair, it can sometimes be more difficult to access help than if you are quite clearly, like myself and Pia, for alopecia. But Pia, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Pia. I live in Spain, so I'm not that close physically to Georgie and Francesca, but I have alopecia universalis. I've had it for 3.5 years, and for me, really, the big change in my acceptance process and in dealing with, obviously, the huge physical change, issues of identity, and of course, self-esteem issues, came about when I discovered the large amount of women there are on Instagram, members of the hair loss community sharing their stories, uploading photos of their moments looking great, their moments of vulnerability. And that's really been a huge turning point for me, in that, first of all, I realized that I wasn't alone. There were other people out there that could 100% relate to what I was feeling, that understood every single aspect of how hair loss affects your life. A lot of people think that, it's just hair. What's the big deal? You're lucky that, it doesn't affect other aspects of your health. And that is true. But I think a lot of the times we overlook the emotional side of it and how strongly hair is linked to forming a sort of physical identity and representation of yourself, and looking in the mirror and recognizing the person that's staring back at you. So all of that is stripped from you. In my case, it was very quick. It was within a matter of 2 months. So yeah, the hair loss community on Instagram has helped me a lot to come to terms with it, to learn to see beauty in myself where I wasn't seeing it. And so, you know, this opportunity to collaborate with you, Francesca, and Peluka Salon, and provide wig reviews, educational content, and just generally be there for whoever needs support, help, has any questions, is sort of my way as well to give back to the community that's helped me so much.
Wonderful. I'm so grateful to both of you for coming on board, and I think that our collaboration, we've worked together for some time, and I've said this to you individually, I love your tone, I love that you're approachable, I love the way you interact with other people, and I think that the realism that you bring with your reviews, and you know, it's really in line with my ethos really, and that kind of brings me to why I set up Peluka Salon. I mean, I have alopecia universalis. I'm in my 5th year, and it was very quick, but I've only just come to terms with it off the back of setting up Peluka Salon. That has been hugely important for me because it forced me to engage with a community that I was hiding from, and it kind of forced me to explore and learn more. And absolutely, the social media community is a really, really, in the main, a positive space. And that's why I want Peluka Presents to complement that and add to that positive space. Some of you may or may not know that we do a monthly support session as well, that you'll find that information on our website or on our social media profile. And that's also been a really wonderful thing, to have lots of different women coming in and just talking. Some people are regulars, some people come in and out. But, you know, I think that for me, exactly as P is saying, the issues, the emotional and the mental health issues are those that have not been fully addressed when with medical care. So with your care, your treatment plan, all of these things, that part I've always felt is missing, and that part is what the social media community is able to kind of bridge that gap, as it were. Because of course we don't see people in our day-to-day, do we, who are suffering. It's not visible. So to be able to have a space where we are all visible to each other and being open, I think is just really positive. So really the aim of this first episode is to, again, as I've said, to invite people to submit some kind of topics that you feel you'd like us to cover. And please don't be afraid, there's no wrong answer at all, wrong question, because if it's important to you and you need to know, we'll try and cover it. So I think that's it from me. I don't know if Pia and Georgie have anything else to add.
Well, I just want to say that going back to the importance of social media, that anyone that is going through hair loss and having a really tough time, I know there are a lot of ladies that are just looking, they're not necessarily participating because they're not ready to take that step. And even just that, and just being there and looking, is so valuable and so important. That's how I started on Instagram. So I was just looking for a few months, and then you do find the confidence eventually to slowly start interacting with other people. And then it's an amazing sort of community of women, and everyone is so helpful and have been so supportive. So yeah, like Francesca said, we're here for you, and our inboxes are always open for any questions, worries that you might have, because, you know, we're going through that. So we understand what it's like.
Absolutely.
I thought I would just add that I think when you've had hair loss for a while, or you've been wearing alternative hair for a while, there's a lot of things that we perhaps take for granted that we just know how to do. And I think one of the things that we want to achieve is to help women who are right at the beginning of their hair loss journey, and they don't know about all different terms to do with wigs or toppers, and it probably feels quite scary and quite daunting. And for me personally, I've tried so many different types of topper and types of hair to find what works for me, and it's quite an expensive journey when you have to buy lots of different pieces, and I feel like if we can explain some of these things and make it clear what everything means, especially if you know, at the moment a lot of us are in lockdown and you can't see people face to face, so you're buying stuff online, it's so easy to get the wrong thing. So hopefully that we can sort of, by doing this kind of step-by-step process, we can introduce people from the very beginning so that they have a better understanding of the different options that are out there.
I think that's really a really good point, Georgie. I think when you're first looking, I don't know about you guys, but we are seduced by the hair. We're seduced by the style, but we have no concept of what's underneath, or what the fibres are, or what the construction is, and what any of that means. We are literally just looking at a woman with a great wig on, or a topper, but we don't know anything more about it. But that's all we know. When you're first, if we can think back to when we first lost our hair, I knew nothing about wigs, absolutely nothing. All I knew was that I needed hair on my head, and what is the quickest way to, excuse me, get to that point. And you do trust the professionals. So, you know, the traditional route is to go to a wig salon. It's very different now, but you do put your trust in that. But I think actually taking a bit of control and ownership and having some knowledge, to, you know, armed with some knowledge, you're going to have a much better experience. And I suppose really that is the objective here, is just to give all of our followers as much knowledge as we can.
Yeah, definitely. It is really an overwhelming moment, you know, when you first sort of approach the wig world, topper world. New terms, and like you said, and I've experienced it as well. My first wigs were just purely based on a photo from a catalogue. I wasn't even aware of sort of online buying. I thought it was an extremely reduced sort of world where I was obliged to get my wig from my local wig shop. And yeah, I would just look at pictures and pick out hair and really understand why this wig was more expensive than the other if it kind of looks the same, with no attention paid absolutely to what's inside and the cap construction. And in my case, something that wasn't even explained to me. So yeah, I really feel strongly for this collaboration and all the information that we're going to try and put forward to everyone.
Well, thank you so much, you wonderful women. And I look forward to our next recording session. And thank you.
Thank you.